Welcome to Enlighten TV, home of trending news, where we publish news on politics, entertainment, celebrity, health news, and international news. Today's headline reads World War III: How Putin is seriously considering military partnership with Iran. If this is your first time of viewing our videos, I urge you at this point to click on the subscribe button so you stay updated of our current news when they come daily. Don't miss out. Now the news in detail. Vladimir Putin is seriously considering setting up a military partnership with Iran in the wake of Donald Trump's recent action in the Middle East. An Iranian expert told Express.co.uk last week. Russian President Putin has been caught up in accusations of interference in the upcoming US presidential election. He is believed to be supporting Mr. Trump's re-election as the US leader is continuing to pull his troops out of the Middle East and weakens alliance between Western nations, following the tension that arose between the US and Iran when Mr. Trump ordered the deadly drone attack upon military commander Qasem Soleimani. Mr. Putin has reportedly been pushing to assert his authority in the region to an ever greater extent. However, former Iranian diplomat Hossein Razam told Express.co.uk last week that Mr. Putin was already on the lookout for opportunities in the Middle East even before the dramatic death. The Iranian international editor said, even with Soleimani's presence, Russia's actively capitalized on the chagos in the Middle East, and I think Syria is a good example. He claimed the country had set itself up in a powerful position over the last few years. Mr. Rassam explained, in the wake of increased pressure on Iran, Russians are even more seriously considering the scenario of military partnership with Iran, both in Iran and in the Persian Gulf. So I don't think Russia saw this scenario materializing in the absence of Qasem Soleimani. Vladimir Putin is reportedly considering a military partnership with Iran, even with Soleimani's presence. That was tax they were trading in. The Pentagon has long been worried about Russia's growing influence in Iran, with one official claiming, "We are watching this relationship closely." In May last year, the two nations' relationship had been growing stronger as Mr. Trump had been withdrawing his troops out of the region. He has also been imposing strict sanctions on Tehran ever since he pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal in May 2018 in an effort to reduce the country's nuclear power capabilities. As Mr. Rassan explained, Mr. Trump's action in the Middle East may have affected Russia's growing power in the region as a result. Mr. Trump, the Iranian nuclear deal in May, he said, "I guess for President Trump, the strengthening of Russia is more of a side effect and collateral damage of his policy in the Middle East at the cost of trying to bring the Islamic Republic to its knees through maximum pressure policies." So yes, as a side effect, generally, the way that President Trump and his predecessor, President Obama, pursued a Middle East policy gradually Russia has gained a stronger standing in the Middle East. That's been the side effect of their policy toward the Middle East. The Guardian Patrick Winter also explained back in October how both Tehran and Moscow will also see opportunities amidst the chagos created by Trump's impulsiveness. He continued, Putin, who is seeking to embed Russia's influence across the Middle East, will see a chance to exploit what is viewed as Trump's betrayal of the court, the U.S. bloodied battering ram in the fight against ISIS. The lesson is clear. When the crunch comes, the US will not have your back, Putin will argue. A former deputy national intelligence officer for Russia told Foreign Policy in January that Mr. Putin is extremely opportunistic. Andrea Kendall Taylor, who used to work at the National Intelligence Council for Russia and Eurasia, continued. He will therefore seek to capitalize on every opportunity he can to use the assassination of Soleimani and any ensuring instability to tarnish Washington's reputation in the region. However, it is not a certainty that Mr. Putin will set up a military partnership with Iran. Moscow has also strengthened its relationship with Israel and Saudi Arabia in recent years, two countries which are Tehran's foe. Throughout the crisis between the US and Iran, Mr. Putin has tried to remain on good terms with all of the major players in the Middle East. Many critics speculate that he will do this by undermining the US to further Russia's position as a region power broker, but is unlikely to back more Iranian relations and retaliations. Russia may have condemned Soleimani's murder, but it should be noted that the nation is also meeting with Iran, China, France, Germany, and Britain tomorrow to discuss maintaining the 2015 Iranian nuclear deal in the hope that Iran will stick to it. Thank you very much for listening. I would love you at this point to share your comment. Let us have your view. Is it that the World War III is looming? What can we actually do to prevent World War III? Let us have your comment and your view. Thank you very much. God bless you.